Now, I don't know if you knew this, but we got a serious epidemic of
white wannabe vigilantism.
It almost makes you wonder what Brianna would call that right there. And well, that's just something we're going to have to talk about.
White wannabe vigilantism.
I call the cops.
Before we get into this video, I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsor, BackupSolarBank.com. What you got here is a beefy backup power bank
that can be powered by the sun and through a regular wall outlet. It has a built-in LED flashlight and SOS strobe light features that can be seen far away, a high battery capacity of 20,000 milliamp hours, wireless charging that automatically recognizes most devices, and it has a bi-directional fast charging Type-C port, USB port, and a USB QC 3.0 fast charging output port, which can charge 3 devices at the same time.
Do yourself a favor and grab a couple of them for you and your friends. My discount link is in the description below.
And that leads us into this next little snippet right here from the Counterfeit News Network. Listen to how they frame this whole thing that's going on with Kyle Rittenhouse as though it were some kind of racial thing, almost like they're trying to create some sort of, racial divide. And of course, Donna Lamone, who once said that the biggest terror threat to America today on American soil is white men radicalized to the right.
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
I know what Donald Lamone said, Mama, but I promise I've been a good boy. I really have.
Listen to Breonna Keeler and this joker right here and the Don Lemon joker, Donald Lamone, talk about how this is a white privilege, white supremacy issue. We got to get to the bottom of this.
There's this theme of white wannabe vigilantism.
Wow.
That I think encapsulates both of these trials. And I wonder what you think about, look, laws aside, how is the defense doing aside? What do you think about just this idea that this is something people do, that in some places this is still okay?
Well, it's the same idea.
Well, before Donald Lamone answers that, I'd like to just enter Exhibit A right here. You want to talk about vigilantism, and let's talk about the potential for your entire city to be burned to the ground by mostly peaceful protesters. I think a lot of us who are just thinking normally, rationally, logically, and with heart and care for our city wouldn't want our cities to be burned to the ground. I mean, look at some of these ridiculous pictures. Look at this car lot right here. Look at this freaking car lot. You want that kind of stuff happen? You want that kind of that symbolizes economic devastation from peaceful protesters. Look at this stuff right here. Look at this. You want that happening to your city? How about this right here? Yeah, that's an appropriate picture, huh? You want all that stuff going on? Now, can you see why it's possible that a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid would get involved in trying to defend a city that his dad lives in with all this kind of nonsense going on? What do you think would happen if everybody got involved in defending their city like this? What if everybody got involved in doing with their city like all those people in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho did that we talked about the other night, where they just heard a rumor that Antifa and BLM were about to make their way through their town. They're like, ain't happening in my town. And 50 or 60% of them showed up, not just armed, but heavily armed. What was the result? Oh, an armed society is a polite society. That was the end result. No flip cars in the street. No broken glass, no destroyed buildings, no burning tires and traffic cones, burning dumpsters. None of this kind of stuff that you're seeing on the screen right here. So in the context of this potentiality that could go on in your town and people exercising their right to be vigilantes, I would say pretty much you could put in vigilante on the resume of pretty much every one of the founding fathers, if I'm not mistaken, if history's right. But they talk about it like it's a bad thing for people to go out there. Is it a dangerous thing? Of course. Would everybody want their children to do it? I would say probably not. But should you be able to exercise your right to do that without any kind of, repercussions when all you're trying to do is protect your city and your heart's in the right place and all that kind of stuff? Are there issues of training that we probably need to talk about? Yeah, I would say so. Are there issues of awareness and, maybe a plan, maybe a little bit of organization going into that? Yeah, I'd say we should probably have that conversation. But to just broad brush this as, somebody's unleashing their white privilege so that they can just make an excuse to be vigilantes, I'd say your town potentially burning to the ground and becoming economically devastated is a pretty good reason to, do something positively to defend it. Listen to these guys.
As I was saying about the judge, this is okay because people are used to it. This is the ultimate entitlement. That, again, you can insert yourself into a situation with a gun that you're not...
Entitlement? The entitlement mentality is it's the exact opposite. They do call it vigilante. You can call it a militia or whatever, but you can vilify the term vigilante. It just sounds horrible. You can exercise, you can take judgment unto yourself and make the right decisions. You don't have to be badged. You don't have to be costumed. You don't have to have a certificate from the state. All you have to have is your mind set on justice. Am I saying that Kyle Rittenhouse was stellar in every decision that he made that night? No, not at all. There's some things that I just can't back the kid on. Don't go around claiming you're an EMT or a paramedic when you're not, first of all. If you don't have any kind of training, you got to be aware that you could hurt somebody in your attempt to protect the city of Kenosha or whatever. You have to understand, probably a good idea to understand the characteristics of the AR-15 that you hadn't had in your possession that long. I mean, how many feet per second does a 223 travel? Was it like 3,800 feet per second, 3,200 feet per second? What can I expect to happen to the projectile when it leaves the barrel of my gun? Could it go through an arm or a chest cavity and hit somebody that I didn't intend for it to hit? Yeah, you might want to think about those kinds of things. I don't think that Kyle Rittenhouse gets a jail out of free card here, but I also don't think the guy should go up the river for 60 years or even a year. I think it's commendable for somebody to get out there and try to defend, but I also think that exercising wisdom is something that we need to apply here. But to broad brush people as white privileged vigilantes who are just, oh my gosh, this is the perfect example of the entitlement mentality. Actually, it's the exact opposite of the entitlement mentality. The entitlement mentality goes, well, I'll just wait for the government to do it for me. I'll just hold out my hand for the government cheese. That's the entitlement mentality. The mentality that Rittenhouse and others that night showed it's like, hey, when seconds count, police are minutes away. Why would we wait for them? That's the exact opposite of entitlement.
Not supposed to be carrying, kill 2 people, injure, and you are made to be a hero by the public. You see someone jogging down the street and you take it into your hands. You think it's your responsibility to stop that person when you're not even sure if they are committing a crime.
Oh yeah, a guy jogging down the street. Look, he's jogging down the street. That's the exact same thing as that guy just set that business on fire. Exact same thing, Donald Lamone. Thank you so much for putting everything into perspective. Yeah, we're going to run after a guy who's just jogging. Hey, look, he's got his headphones in. I bet he's listening to Nazi propaganda. Let's go get him. Yeah, that's the exact same thing as that group of guys over there, that 7 group of guys who's trying to flip over that car or break that window or destroy that business. Exact same thing. Donald Lamone. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. That's the Proud Boy symbol.
Because what? It is your street. It is your town. It is your country.
That's a good point, Doppel Live. I missed the forest for the trees on that one. The guy jogging down the street was Kyle Rittenhouse. Exactly. Let's listen to what he says about a guy jogging down the street.
That, again, you can insert yourself into a situation with a gun that you're not supposed to be carrying, kill 2 people, injure, and you are made to be a hero by the public. You see someone jogging down the street and you take it into your hands. You think it's your responsibility to stop that person when you're not even sure if they are committing a crime because what? It is your street. It is your town. It is.
I know what he's trying to say, but that's hilarious. Basically, he's in Kyle Rittenhouse's corner because he was the guy jogging on the street. Now, if they're jogging down the street, like somebody pointed out in the chat room, jogging down the street with a flat screen TV or boxes of tennis shoes under their arms, yeah, they're not those are mostly peaceful protests. Yeah, I know that Nike shoe store is burning in the distance and these guys are making out like bandits with thousands of dollars of apparel, but just leave them alone. They're mostly peaceful.
Your country. It is the ultimate degree of entitlement when people believe that this is how they're supposed to be. What the right is saying about Kyle Rittenhouse is that, well, the government didn't do its job, so it took a 17-year-old kid to come in and do what was right. That's vigilantism. That's not what people are not.
So call it whatever you want. Call it whatever you want. Try to put whatever evil spin you want to put on it, Donald Lamone. It's called getting off your ass and being self-determined. All right? Mistakes were made. Yes. And we can learn from them. And if the injustice system throws the book at this kid, it just proves that it's the injustice system.
Supposed to be vigilantes. We're not supposed to be taking justice into our own hands.
We're not supposed to be. That is the doctrine of the 15,000 hour government indoctrination program. Don't take responsibility for what goes on in your town. Don't take justice into your own hands. You're supposed to obey the authorities. It's the officials. Harken back to your 15,000 hour indoctrination program. Remember when they tried to brainwash you? We're just going to try to shove that a little bit deeper into your cranium.
Imagine if every single person in America did that. Imagine if you call for black men or just black folks to be armed and go out on the streets and do what they think. Justice, take it back. Remember,
I want black men to be armed in the streets. Don't you? This is a black man's. Does that make Don Lemon a racist? I don't know. I'm being psychologically operated on here. I want black men armed in the streets. Black women, Hispanic women. I want transgenders to be armed in the streets. I want them to be self-determined. I want them to have a sense of self-defense. Holy cow. That's exactly what I want, Donald Lamone. I want black men. Okay, so a white dude in the South in Oklahoma wants black men to be armed, but a guy sitting in a CNN studio somewhere in New York doesn't want black men to be heavily armed. Wow, man.
And what they did to you and slavery, whatever, go and take things and do. Imagine if people were condoning that or just doing that. Would there be a different perception in this country about who should and who shouldn't carry guns? Would our gun laws be different? I certainly think so. So there is a double standard, but it is the old.
We already have. This nation it's only got room for one gun law. Guess what it's called? 2A. I'll keep it real simple for you. 2A. It's the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia, even if they're made up of black gun-toting members, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, Donald Lamone. The right of the people, that includes black people, Donald Lamone, to keep and bear arms shall not freaking be infringed. They should see that the founding fathers made a huge mistake by not inserting frickin' in between in and fringed. In frickin' fringed. Can't do it. Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. We need black males to be armed. That's what we need.
Ultimate degree of entitlement. This is what I'm supposed to do because this belongs to me, meaning this street, this town, and this country. And I think it's tough for people to hear that, but it is the absolute truth. I don't walk down the street saying, this is I pay taxes here and therefore no.
He's trying to vilify anybody who's got this. It's like, this is my town. Welcome to my town. It's like, yeah, that you take personal responsibility. Why not drive down the road and go, man, this is my town. These are my people. I will protect my town and my people. He's trying to make that sound like it's all a bad thing. What the frick is going on here?
If I see someone breaking the law, I call the cops. That's
if Donald Lamone sees somebody breaking the law, he calls the cops, ... that he wants so desperately to defund. I mean, what is this, a Saturday Night Live skit? I like that. We should go back to that. Welcome to my town. And then you'll go, things about to go down.
That's what they're there for. It's supposed to be about law and order. This isn't about law and order. This is about unlawful conduct and disorder.
Brianna had an amazing conversation with the Reverend William Barber.
The Reverend William Barber. I don't know. We're not going to go on with this. It ends. It's only got 2 more seconds. I don't know why they didn't end that clip at the end of what Don Lemon said, but this is ridiculous, man. Self-determination, self-discipline, self-defense, that's what we need. We need a reputation-based society that does internalize where you live and take pride and ownership in it. Not because you're walking around town going, oh, I'm somebody, this is my town. Not like that. But go, man, this is my town. These are my people. I don't call 911. I call 1911 or 357. That's how we do up in here. Donald Lemon. But Donald Lamone's basically like, hey, just quiver like a little bag of bones in the corner until, you know, the authorities get there. Because, you know, when seconds count, when your life is literally hanging by a spider's web, the police are minutes away. What good is that? Most of the cops show up, 97% of the time is the statistic I heard. They show up, 97% of the time they show up after the crime has been committed. What good is that?
Hey guys, we know with the way things have been going, it can get really interesting really quick. So make sure you and your family have a long-term storable food supply. Support the channel and get $50 off with my link in the description while you still can.